we have this really ripe community of writers that are like, hey, SoulCycle has changed my life and I want to share it.
What is it that makes that community so special?
It's hard to make friends as you get older. So to have this kind of space where you go into this room where you can kind of sing next to your neighbor, and the instructor is going to cue you to say hi to your neighbor. And I don't really know what other fitness class you really can make a friend like that at.
That's amazing. Are you able to track the commercial impact of this?
Working out, it can be just like really scary and intimidating. So our job on social is to just peel back the curtain a little bit and let them know that it's absolutely not scary.
How do you extend from the real life into this digital space?
So what we do, people do like a little bit of, mystery. What would be really cool is to see everybody's saves. Celebrities really have kind of mastered the using sort of these engagement tools to their advantage.
What do you think one of the things that most marketers misunderstand about community that you've learned since joining?
I think...
Hello. My name's Paul Archer. Welcome to Building Brand Advocacy, and I am joined by the exceptionally awesome McKinley Hart. Now, this is a bit of a boomerang because we had you at our summit a month or two ago, where you were part of like a crazy game show.
It was a blast.
It was fun. There were flags.
I know. Where are the flags now?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't get the flags. Do you want to just give us a quick intro? Tell everyone who you are, what you do, and who you work for, and then we're going to get straight into it.
Of course. My name is McKinley Hart. I'm the director of social at SoulCycle, and I come from I have a decades-long career in media. I come from the world of Comedy Central to ABC News. Most recently, before this, was Katie Couric Media.
We're actually talking about you and SoulCycle, which is just such an interesting brand from a community perspective for us to kind of dig into. And like people sort of talk about it. They say like people walked in for a workout, but then came out with friends, which is like a huge vibe for what is basically, standing on a bike being shouted at, right? But to music. But like, tell us about that. It's like, what is it that makes that community so special? And how is it that you guys as brand have cultivated that?
Yeah, so absolutely. So basically, it's hard to make friends as you get older. It's just kind of an undeniable fact. So to have this kind of space where you go into this room, this dark room, where you can kind of sing, next to your neighbor, you might cry, and the instructor is going to cue you to say hi to your neighbor. And you should. And you're going to be cued to tap their handlebars. And so by the end of it, you really go through this like fantastic experience with the person next to you that it kind of leads to this natural conversation. And then you kind of keep showing up. You sort of do these little life updates week after week. And we've heard that slowly but surely it's like, do you want to get coffee after this? And then it becomes like, okay, let's go to a concert together. Our audience loves music. And these just beautiful friendships form. And I don't really know what other fitness class you really can make a friend like that at.
That's amazing. And do you have any examples of like that when it's just been next level when people have come in and just become these crazy friends?
Absolutely. So when I first got, sort of the keys to the, SoulCycle social accounts.
Oh, the sacred keys.
Right. I kept being tagged in, all these stories. And one was by this man named Gio. And it was Gio, and he kept calling them, this friend group, this massive group of people called the Nomad Baddies. And now, if you don't know, Nomad is a part of New York City, and we have a studio there.
We're basically
and we're currently
right now,
in Nomad.
Yeah.
So the Nomad Baddies could be out and about, and we have no idea. So I was like, who is this man, Gio? And Gio is an SVP of visual merchandise at Coach. But he is also, more importantly, the leader of the Nomad Baddies, which is this group of friends. We were outside during the pandemic at Hudson Yards. And so they started writing together there with Tremel and Lamar, who are two of our instructors. Tremel and Lamar now teach at Nomad, so they followed him there afterwards. And slowly but surely, these friendships started there. And now they have a standing reservation at the Smith, which is a restaurant near the studio, where they go to brunch all the time. It's a 60-plus person group chat. And they go every week to this class. They go to the restaurant afterwards, and they even vacation together. They go to concerts together. Yes, they went to Ibiza.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Exactly. No, I'm trying to get in. That's really my whole thing. And so they have this beautiful friendship. And, Gio moved to New York. And now he's a U.S. citizen, but he really credits making a friend group at SoulCycle.
As someone who's managing social at SoulCycle, how much of that is your fault? How much of that is, and in fact, think about it as like, who owns that community? As you hold the keys, as you said there. Like, is it someone like Gio? Is it you? And when does that kind of pass over?
dare I say, everyone is involved, right? Because the minute you enter the studio staff will greet you. If you're new, they know that, and they have a locker with your name on it and a little pamphlet for you as well. And they're going to set your bike up and everything. If you're a seasoned rider, they know if you have a milestone, and there's a card that they've decorated probably an hour before. And we have some great artists on the team. So there's a milestone probably card for you waiting for you if you've hit a certain like number of rides. So they already set the scene. Then the instructor kind of takes the keys and is like, sets this amazing, scene. They've got this music. They've got this playlist that's going to absolutely move you. So the setting is really ripe for it to happen. And so what I can do on social is like when they share it or they want to share it with me, I can sort of amplify that and sort of use it as a place to be like, here's what goes on in our studios. Come in and join us. And you can kind of form your own relationships too. So it starts kind of organically. I can just amplify it and just sort of, use it as like an invitation to be like, come here, find community, have a blast.
And you've got all this content as well, which just obviously creates itself with people talking about it. But like, I was thinking the kind of fundamental thing to driving advocacy is creating fans, and you create fans by creating this remarkable experience. So you were saying that you have like first-time riders, they turn up there, they get decorated ones for this. What else kind of do you do in this sort of offline setting that translates really well into online content that you have like at your fingertips? So
what we will do often too is we have these challenges throughout the year, and we have sort of these like tentpole events. So like most recently we had our turkey burns. So these turkey burns, so for reference, they are these 90-minute rides. And people, they sell out weeks in advance. We have this feature called Soul Early. People wait for Soul Early to go so you can book your turkey burn. They go with their friends. We have some early in college towns so people can go. And people will also go with just their families when they get back. And it's this amazing event. So like they can, we encourage them to take content and share it with us. So much so that when we were figuring out how to advertise it on social, we had these old videos that people made on their own accord talking about, how there's people who, wake up just to like sleep in on Thanksgiving. But then there's other people, SoulCycle riders, who wake up at 7 a.m. to go dance on a bike for 90 minutes with their friends and family. So we, we're able to reuse that content because it was already at our fingertips for it.
That's amazing. And are you able to get like deeper into their lives, like to kind of create that connection to like even tailor that experience further? Yeah. So,
we've started this series called Soul Stories. And so there is this line we try to like walk through, if you want to be private about your soul story or how SoulCycle has impacted you, or if you want to share it, let us know. And so we've gotten some really beautiful submissions. One of my favorite was from this woman named M. Goodson. And she had a brain injury when she was a little girl and she couldn't ride a bike. And now through SoulCycle, she's able to sort of, exercise this old activity that she used to do and used to love, and meet all these wonderful people through it. And so she was, brave enough to share that with us, and we were able to sort of showcase it. So we have this really ripe community of writers that are like, hey, SoulCycle has changed my life and I want to share it. And we're able to just, talk to them and hear them out and be able to, put a spotlight on their beautiful story.
Are you able to kind of track the commercial impact of this? So you've got community. How much of that is leading to advocacy? Like what percentage of new people are there because someone there has brought them along? And then how do you kind of keep a track of those various different pieces? So
we have a refer a friend program. So if you bring 2 friends, and we have some nice like first time rider offers, if you bring 2, then you get a free class.
Nice. Okay. So like really good referral mechanics. Do you have any idea what sort of percentage that is driving in terms of the new customers? I
don't have a percentage offhand. I do know that we are gearing up for January, and we have this sort of deal that we're going to do. It's 50 unlimited. So it's either £50 or $50 because we have our UK studios, and you can ride unlimited for 2 weeks if you're a new rider or if you've done less than 5 rides. Wow. So it's a great way to sort of get into our studios and give it a go, because the first class can be intimidating.
Yeah.
So now you have 2 weeks to sort of try it out and find what fits for you.
Trying to turn this into from a kind of a content perspective, and your job obviously within social and you're sort of tying in there, like there's so much going on in January around fitness, right? Like there's this new me, new year, new me, and like being the one, do I go to SoulCycle? Do I go to Equinox? Do I, where like making decisions on it? Like, how do you cut through that in a way that just feels real, but is also different?
So we've heard new year, new me. It's overdone. And our whole thing is we don't want it to be scary. at SoulCycle. It's a fun workout, and you can also just have a great time, and we will meet you where you're at. So our theme for January is going to be elevation, not reinvention. Come in, we'll meet you where you are. You're going to leave stronger. You're going to leave having more fun, but it's not a matter of you've got to, start from scratch. We will meet you where you're at.
Nice. I like that. That's quite cool. And then so going back to get a bit nerdy then on the actual social side of things is actually when you were at the summit, you had a great quote with you. You were sort of talking about social. You're saying you predicted that social was going to get noisy again. I think it was MySpace top 8 energy,
yes,
but smarter, where platforms surface who you like, save, follow, and brands use that transparency to identify advocates. What's that about?
So you're already seeing it, right? So on Instagram, they have a special feed that shows you exactly what reels your friends are already liking. And they used to have this activity feed. And I don't know if you remember this, but it's kind of used to be this like funny meme where you used to have this activity feed and it was between Demi Lovato and Henry Cavill. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, just to tell everyone for those who don't know, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
So basically, I believe the interaction went with, it was like you could see exactly what everyone was doing in real time. So it was like late at night, Demi Lovato followed Henry Cavill or posted a really beautiful photo of herself and then left a comment for him. So in real time, you were able to see her sort of, flirting with Henry Cavill. And so that was really funny because people do that automatically, but we were able to see through the activity feed and be really nosy. And then it felt like they took away the activity feed and there was a little bit more mystery and they were kind of respecting privacy. Now I feel like we're seeing a little bit of a switch, right? Now we can see what reels people are liking. On LinkedIn, which we've always kind of seen, you can kind of do profile views and you can see who looks. TikTok has that as well. And now I'm starting to see, even since I made that prediction, that on Instagram, even in my regular feed, I'll see like a floating profile of somebody I follow with a heart. And so now I barely see anybody's content I actually follow.
Isn't that weird? Like, it's like not very social anymore.
No, I'm seeing it's just allowing me to snoop on everybody and see what they're liking. So it's fascinating. So I do stand by my prediction.
That's interesting. And how's that kind of boiling down for brands? Like how can they either mitigate against this or take advantage of this?
I think they'll take advantage of it because I think, for example, it's one of these things where we're underestimating what a like does. A lot of times it's like, when you're looking for advocacy, it's like make a video that is, expressing, either a review of the product or not. And we're not necessarily taking into account of what a simple like will do. So like in real time, for example, do you know the bad company JW Pay?
Yeah, the company, yeah. I thought you said bad company.
No, bag.
I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
Quite the opposite. You say in your phone, I need a new white purse.
Yeah.
And I remember I was looking for it, and then of course now it's on my ads. And so I was looking at them, and I could see that my friend, who I like, who's very stylish, just liked one of the posts. Never had a conversation with her about it. But now I own a JW Pay bag because I was like, I like her taste. I got it. It's fantastic. But like that simple like was just like, I don't need to text her to find it. She likes it. All right, cool. Like it was almost just this like intuitive like stamp of approval that I was like, now I've got to snag that bag.
We've run a few kind of campaigns, hacks, not quite sure what we call it. At Jewel, where we were with a few brands where they were galvanizing their community, incentivizing them to like and comment on their posts for a particular launch. So if you can get, 2,000 or 3,000 people to like and comment on a thing when then normally you get like a penetration of like 1%, the algorithm's like, this must be really important.
Right.
And then shows it to loads of people. And then they can like give them incentives or points or whatever. And it works so well because you're like, it's so hard to game this now because it's become so sophisticated. It just is meritocratic on what you want to see with other people. But if you can get people to do likes or comments and drive that way, it can drive such an impact.
And it feels a little bit more genuine because it's so subtle. That it's a little bit like, it's not a full-on, it almost doesn't read as an ad. It reads just more like a stamp of approval.
Where are you seeing sort of friction in this as well?
People do like a little bit of, mystery. I think what would be really cool is to see everybody's saves. But I do think, it's like, your difference between what you like and what you save. I think that might be a little bit of we might have to wait a little bit for that. But I've looked at my own content too to just prove it. Like, what do I save versus what I like? And it's just funny. It's anything too scandalous, but that would be really cool if we could see those two. If we could see saves, I would love that. But for better or worse, I don't think that'll come for a bit.
Yeah. So one of those things you actually want other people to see what the algorithm puts towards you because they'll see who you really are.
Yeah, exactly. It might even be nice on the back end too, even if we kept it like it would be nice to see, at SoulCycle, it's like I can see how many people are saving my content, but it would be great to see like even if there was some demographics on who's saving, it would be great.
Yeah, okay. I quite like that. And like looking forward, like where do you see this like heading in the future, and more generally around sort of social for brands like yourself?
Well, it's funny. I think celebrities really have kind of mastered the using sort of these engagement tools to their advantage, where it's like, you see celebrities start to like soft launch relationships by, like a like here and there. And I think
soft launch relationships.
I'm going to tell that
to my wife. That's it. Like,
listen, these are not words I created. These are words that the kids are using. And so, but I think there's a way, a lot of times brands now are using.
So a divorce is now known as discontinued relationship.
Or what did Gwyneth Paltrow coin it as? Conscious uncoupling. Yeah. So we've grown so far. We've grown so much. But I think in a way it can kind of soft launch these sort of like partners. And I think too, a lot of brands have leaned into this sort of, unhinged behavior. It's like, who is like, Dunkin' Donuts, I think was like one of the latest, kind of lean in all the way unhinged. I think they might capitalize on that too with like what's a 3 a.m., like from Dunkin' Donuts look like? Like that might be a way that they're able to sort of lean in, as anybody on social. I think there's this like fear that when you manage accounts, you maybe like something from the brand's account versus your own personal one. Yeah. There may be some of those staged moments as sort of launches I see in our future.
Nice. I like that. And so do you find that quite hard, like to juggle between the two? And then also, this is the other thing which I've always curious about for people who work in socials, like how do you get anything done? Because if you think about it, like there are these algorithms that have been optimized to take all your attention to go down every rabbit hole there possibly could be.
Yes.
And you have to resist that every day for work. Like, and how do you do it? I
have just sacrificed my own algorithm too, where my whole algorithm is SoulCycle. Okay. If anybody says anything about SoulCycle, it's in my feed.
Got it.
So at this point, I've made peace with it. But I've had friends tell me too about like Brick, I think is a product that you can use to like limit your screen time. That is something I will never know. And that's fine. And if my screen time's low, it's just because the other screen got more of my attention. So it's just, I've just made peace with it.
Love that. With all these sort of social shifts that are going, within your role, it's probably quite unique because SoulCycle is such an IRL experience.
Yes.
Right? You're going back there. But yet you are talking about in this sort of digital sphere, just like, and we're talking about that being quite a noisy space. Like, how do you extend from the real life into this digital space?
Got it. So what we do is often, sometimes the algorithm that I've now just given over to SoulCycle is fantastic because I will see sort of things that are going on in our studios that may not necessarily are not sent to me. So like, for example, I'm able to see class clips from all over our different regions just in my feed. And I'm like, wait, this is so incredibly cool. And I will message the instructor and be like, I absolutely need this on my feed. So like, for example, we have this fantastic community in Philly. Like I need to get to Philadelphia immediately because when I first started, there was a video that came up on my feed of an instructor that I know now very well. Essentially, I'm watching this video and it's of this guy, Corey, and he just does the splits in the middle of the class. It's a sold out class and there's a live DJ and he just gets off the bike and does the splits. And I was like, hi, Corey, I'm McKinley. Nice to meet you. Can I please post this as soon as possible? And it became like one of our top viewed posts, like second to a picture of David Beckham coming out of SoulCycle. So, those are neck and neck.
This is a pretty banging. In fact, actually, possibly we don't want to name drop. Like we actually did have dinner the other day.
We certainly did.
Mr. certain Sir Beckham was sat next to us.
We should have let him know that there's a man doing the splits that's coming for one of his top viewed posts.
You are not as important anymore, David.
That's right. But finding these moments that kind of already exist and being able to put them on our main feed and showcase like all the different kinds of classes you can go to. Because I think, sometimes people will have a certain idea of like the kind of music they can hear in SoulCycle or what that class looks like. And there really is so many different kinds of classes, whether it's genres, styles, whether some, people are off the bike dancing that they can go to. So it's fun to showcase that.
Do you have like kind of a sort of a pop punk nu metal class for like mid to late 30s males? Just asking for a friend.
We absolutely do. We've got something for everybody. So don't you worry. I'll give you a list of instructors. We'll get you in.
So, I mean, the instructors are just this incredible asset that you have, right? Like, as well as the other thing that you've got, like, how do they play into this as stars of the show, as advocates? Because people come from miles around just to go to particular
Yes.
class as an instructor. So how do you utilize that to grow the brand?
Well, I often say, EGC is our bread and butter, and we kind of may have accidentally pioneered it, because they, to get people to go to their class, they have to build this community. It's hard to be an instructor. So having this sort of social presence and being able to connect with their riders afterwards, they built it. And so they have this great content that they take from their classes. They know their riders better than anyone else, and they're able to sort of capture these great moments. So they're more than happy to share those moments with us, and we can further amplify it on our own platforms. So they are, the heart and soul of everything we do. So we're able to take like that content and showcase them,
Some of them have quite large audiences, right?
Oh, absolutely. And like, it's really fun. So like, for example, this instructor named Roxy, she's a fairly new instructor, joined in a couple years ago. And she started with a time slot that's really difficult, like a Friday, 6 a.m.
Right.
Well, now that 6 a.m. in NoHo is almost sold out every single week with college students and like young people going to this because they love Roxy. They love the music she plays. And they'll go out that night before, but they're going to make it to that 6 a.m. class the next day.
Nice.
So
what is the music that can bring people in at 6 a.m. on a Friday?
She loves Bad Bunny. She loves Bad Bunny.
Okay, right. I like that. And did they have like a structured playbook? You tell them, you must do this, you must create in this, here's our brand guidelines, or like, how do you manage the freedom kind of element of it?
They have complete freedom. We don't police what they post.
Complete freedom.
Yes.
You don't tell them any guidance at all.
No, they can post whatever they want. Obviously, there are certain things, we advise them that like, there are certain things they can't post, but their feed is their feed. What we choose to amplify is up to us.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. Because, I mean, a lot of brands struggle with this. And this is one of the biggest things that I'm seeing in every brand is they're desperately struggling to like relinquish the control. There's this sort of, particularly the old school brands, particularly luxury brands, they're always, this concept of like, this is our brand aesthetic.
Right.
And other people can't do it because they're going to do it wrong and then we'll fail. And it's actually, that's not how the internet works today. So the incredibly refreshing to see you have zero control. You just give them absolute freedom, which is fantastic.
Right. And what's really great about working at SoulCycle is there is sort of a culture of let's try things, so we're able to sort of, have some fun. I mean, like when I first got there, I think we had a video where there was like some cursing and I was so nervous to post it. It was fine. We just posted another, it's like we don't go overkill with it, but it is nice to be able to, it's a workout class. It's very emotive. There's going to be a time where that happens. So it's fun to be able to have that freedom.
And what's the upside that you're getting from giving them the freedom that they can do that, or you having that freedom? Are you seeing that engagement goes up, or you're able to A/B test and do more of things? So how does that actually show up in terms of more commercial results?
So that video of Corey doing the splits is now our leading paid media asset. And it's because, you see that, and all the comments were like, what studio is that? Because I need to get there immediately. So giving him the freedom, I'm sure he didn't post that thinking, I hope corporate sees this.
He did the splits. I mean, I'd be posting that everywhere if I could do the splits.
But I'm sure he didn't necessarily submit it thinking, this has to be on the, the main page. But now it is like an imperative part of our social toolkit.
Do you give them any kind of brief, or do you say we'd like you to post once a week? Do you have any sort of guidance that you could towards them?
So a lot of times, like for example, with turkey burns, like for that, we recently, we contacted a couple instructors that we know are super social savvy, and we said, hey, here are a couple ideas that we think, run with it and have some creative freedom. Like, for example, we gave one instructor, a prompt, and she came back to us with an inflatable turkey in the back. We didn't ask for that, but we were certainly thrilled to get it. Yeah. So that's where kind of the creative freedom comes. So we'll give them ideas. Because I think if you give sometimes a blank slate, but it's like, hey, we've got these great rides. The brand, here's a fun idea. We thought, roll with it, do it in your style.
And I think that's the term prompt as well, because there's so many ways that people desperately try and control these things, and you've got to just nudge it and allow it to have that freedom.
Exactly.
How do you track the advocacy? Is it per instructor?
So what we will do, for example, a metric we've been looking at on social media is for views or non-follower views, because that is something that we're really tracking. We're trying to always get out of our echo chamber. So, for example, we had an instructor named Milana in DC there's this artist. Have you heard of Role Model?
I have not. So
I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to say a lot of words that are going to sound wild, but just follow me.
Okay.
So there's this artist.
Knowingly.
There's this artist named Role Model who at his concerts would sort of bring out this Sally figure. And it was like he had like Natalie Portman come out and do it. And it's sort of just this fun celebrity cameo moment at his concerts. So Alana in DC, and it's a very, people who love that guy, he has a strong following.
Right.
So we saw that this instructor was doing sort of the Sally cameos in her own classes, and which was a really cute moment. And it was, these videos go viral online when the celebrities do it. So we had to jump in on it and do it.
Yeah.
That video that we reposted, because we saw that she did it, got 70% non-follower views. So for that's a total win for us, because we're outside of our echo chamber. We have people saying in the comments, oh, I didn't know you guys did this in class. And that for us is an absolute win.
Right. And then other people have seen the comments, they've seen the likes, and then you're actually getting that sort of word of mouth piece.
Exactly.
What do you think the barrier to someone booking a class is, typically, that you have to break down the trust to get to that level of commitment?
I think sometimes it's a little bit of fear. Working out is very intimidating. And also, if you go to a SoulCycle class, it's dark and you're doing choreo and you don't want to look silly. So what we've done, and we've tried to find a balance, and it really works well for us on YouTube Shorts and TikTok, is a little bit of like breaking down the choreo. So that way you don't go in fully blind. Like I remember I went to my first like boxing class, and I was like, I'm not going to know how to do the punches going in, but I at least like to know like a little bit. So I watched the YouTube video. And we see that with our YouTube Shorts, where we have a little bit of like here's how we do like our around the world. Here's how to clip in. People get so scared of being stuck on that bike forever. We promise you will not be clipped into the SoulCycle bike. We will let you leave the studio. So I think there is a fear. Working out, it can be just like really scary and intimidating. So our job on social is to just peel back the curtain a little bit and let them know that it is absolutely not scary.
And like, how does friendship play into that? Like, is that a byproduct of the kind of the fitness space? Because you were saying that they kind of join us for fitness and they end up as friends. Like, why do you think that happens?
I really think the instructors play a big role in that, in forcing them to say hi to their neighbor. And there's a lot of cues in class. Like sometimes we get feedback too. We have a Reddit where people will be like, the instructor made me say hi to my neighbor so many times. And it's like, there's a reason for that. It breaks down sort of that like awkwardness there, and they can kind of get to know them. And that sort of like bike tap or singing to your song, with your neighbor leads to conversation after class. I mean, so many times I feel like our riders would stay in the lobby for hours if we really? Never closed, and which is so sweet to see after class. So I think it leads to this sort of natural conversation right after. Also, our riders love music, so to be able to talk about it, and our riders are also the first people to go to these shows too. We have this great thing called Soul Surprise, where we partner with Live Nation, and if you go to certain classes, you can win a chance to get some tickets. So recently, Maroon 5 was somebody we were promoting, and if you went to a class, 10 riders would be able to go to a Maroon 5 concert.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's quite cool.
So it's fun. You go to a SoulCycle class and then you go to MSG the weekend after. It's a nice deal.
Obviously, you're segmenting your CRM basically based on music tastes. Like, what are the crossovers there with things like Spotify? And you've obviously got Live Nation there. Like, how does this move into that music world in ways that people wouldn't necessarily expect? So
we had a partnership earlier this year with Apple Music, and it was really fun. We had a lot of classes to like their radio stations with a couple different genres. So that was really, really fun, because then we could, obviously, it was just a natural fit to partner with that brand, because that way we're able to you can try out their radio stations. We know it's a natural fit. So it's fun to partner with brands like that.
Yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah, like the rap.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
Like yeah, okay.
Yes, we had to hop on the Spotify Wrapped trend.
Yes. I couldn't
As
see that
music
one
lovers,
right?
we knew it was going to be Wednesday, and we were ready.
You were ready and you got it. Any surprises?
Well, we did one for SoulCycle, which was really fun. And no, I don't think there were too many surprises.
So wait, what does this mean? So you took all of them across all of the different artists, and you were able to correlate what the most popular ones were?
Absolutely.
And
yes.
What give us a little taste of what that looked like?
We had Taylor Swift. We had Bad Bunny.
That didn't surprise me.
We had Tate McRae. I don't think that was a surprise at all. And we spent, I believe it was 4 million minutes together on the bike.
4 million.
And I think there was like a 38,000 milestones hit.
Nice.
So it was fun. We were able to partner with the data team on that one and put together a really sweet post.
Oh, nice. And it's all done it's all Spotify. Is that actually what's connected?
We do Spotify and Apple Music.
And Apple Music. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, that's a good bit of data. Do you have any other cool data drops like that? Because I think that's one of the best like tactics for social teams is getting really innovative data, which, by the way, I mean, Spotify are one of the best at.
Right.
But like, what are you able to surface anything else interesting?
We are sort of able to see like utilization for rides, which is fun to see sort of like when our riders like to ride, what kind of rides bring them, to it. So for example, we know like we're able to sort of look at what rides have done well in the past, and that kind of will help us inform like what kind of partnerships we want to do. So like recently this week, we know that our riders love free stuff, and they, who
does not?
Who doesn't? So this week we have a partnership with Sunday Riley, and so it's this great thing where it's like you can go ride and you can get good jeans, their product.
Nice.
Yes. So we're always partnering. We are always seeing, okay, what was successful, what wasn't, and informing it from there. We recently did over the summer, we did a partnership with Alien FX. We did one with Landman. So we know that our riders are sort of in tune with the culture, and we're able to sort of, convert that into a fun experience on the bike.
Nice.
Yes.
I like that a lot. What do you think one of the things that most marketers misunderstand about community that you've learned since joining?
I think what most marketers miss too is almost sort of breaking that fourth wall. Mm-hmm. So we get a lot of DMs. And I think sometimes in past roles, it was sort of like, do not answer back, or like, let them go through customer service. Mm-hmm. And with us sort of writing back really quickly and talking to them has been just so fruitful. So a story I really like is like, we had this message from a very flustered boyfriend of a rider, and his girlfriend lost her precious SoulCycle tote, which was a prize that you could win at one of our challenges for Turn It Up. We have this 30-day challenge, and if you did a certain amount of rides, you got this tote. And she had left her tote on the LIRR, and you miss that, you lose that prize. She didn't know she could get another one. So he wrote us this really sweet DM trying to see if we desperately had one. We let him know we had one. He biked on over. We were able to document the whole thing.
Amazing.
And then we got her reuniting with this tote, and it was just such a sweet moment that we were able to facilitate. And he got his flowers as he should have.
Oh.
So that really came to life because we were able to not necessarily follow this sort of formalized process. I think hospitality is at the forefront of everything we do. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to just say, we've got you. I have a tote in the back. Come to the West Village studio. We've got you. Let's fix this in real time.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. And what do you think that brands get wrong when they think about trying to build brand advocacy?
I think sometimes what happens is brands forget their existing customer and will sometimes try to get new ones instead of speaking to the people that they already know. Where it's like too much of trying to acquire new and forgetting about the ones that they actually have. For example, like we do all this sort of work to try to get new riders in the studio, but we are very conscientious of the people that actually ride with us. So we, for example, like we have these promotions coming up for January. We have them for like these existing riders too. We have this thing called Soul Renew where, you can sort of have this membership. So we're going to have a discount on that. Like we always try to never forget about the existing base we already have instead of just always trying to acquire new. And I think sometimes brands try to, think, okay, what's the fresh new thing we can do instead of taking care of the loyal riders and the loyal customers that they already have.
Yeah, and that sort of makes sense because, the number of your customers that have come through word of mouth directly, have come with a friend or like because of a friend that's broke down those barriers to do it, just like it's just invaluable for you to try and activate those. That's the idea. Often we're so obsessed with acquisition, but actually activation of people to turn them from being a passive customer, turn them into a fan with that remarkable experience that you're doing, and then turning them into an advocate in whatever way that might be is like the missed opportunity for so many brands.
Absolutely. And, like they want to, and so many times too, I think people want to, as I was saying earlier with like soul stories and stuff like that, we have so many people wanting to share how much they love the brand that it's like we want to like sort of reward that, that loyalty and sort of give them a platform to speak on it.
Yeah. Do you know what sort of percentage of your customers are active creators? Like how much do you see external creator content coming up from that customer base, not just from the instructors? Because obviously we talked about that, but like how much is this coming from selfies on the bikes?
I don't have a percentage, but I will tell you, it's like we are tagged in content all day long of just, I'm at SoulCycle. We love to coin the phrase sweaty selfie.
Nice.
And so afterwards we get tagged in those day in and day out. It's really fun. So a thing we did recently was like, we will do these Instagram story custom frames. We did that for Turn It Up, and people love to use the frames. It is very fun to sort of take a selfie after our class and just be like, I did it. Sweaty selfie.
Yeah, love it. Love it. That's quite cool. Yeah, I saw some data the other day, which is starting to emerge that the number of Gen Zs that are active creators is upwards of 30%. And in fact, it was like 60 something percent had said that they have created. And in that sort of sense, I self-identify as someone who's done that. And then actually it's about 30% regularly creating that. And I think it's not much lower for sort of millennials and upwards. You're looking at like maybe 20% from there. But if you think about it, it's your loyalty base. If a quarter of them or a third of them are creating content all the time on platforms, it's just like, well, there's your opportunity for activation, right?
Absolutely. And like recently too, it's like when you go on the feed, there was a video that one of our writers did I think it was like at the end of last month. It was like, I think why people aren't happy is because we're not doing fun culty workouts anymore, like SoulCycle. It was like, that is how we're going to get happy again. I was like, we absolutely co-sign that message. Get in a room and sing on a bike.
Well, that's it. You can't spell culture without cult.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that.
Well, Nick Kinley-Hart from SoulCycle, this was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.